Hello, Madridistas. Welcome once again to Let's Be Your podcast. We gather here today after the game against Real Betis. And yeah, I'm just going to pass you guys to the host for today's tonight. So you can just take the reins.
Well, another efficient performance from the boys. And it was something that was unexpected because a lot of people were expecting us to kind of slip up. And Real Betis was coming into the in the form of their life essentially, and obviously on the back of last season's Copa del Rey win, the first major title in like 17 years. So it was a squad that was on the high, and Pellegrini has been doing such a brilliant job with them. Pellegrini, obviously, as we all know, has his alliance with us, famously losing out by a couple of points to Barcelona. So this was sort of a statement that we needed, and I think we got the job done. The first half was mad. It was giving me a heart attack, but yeah, I'm glad we all got through. But how is everyone doing? Firstly,
Without
I'm
doing
asking
one
the
like
panel.
yeah, I was so for the first half I was at a wedding, and then as soon as the first half started, it was a frantic to and fro. So I was just piling on my plate full of food and then just stress eating all through the first half. But then before the second half started, I just ended up coming back home, and it was pretty much a milder game. It was a really stressful time though.
Fair enough. I think I can.
What about you, Yadu?
Yeah, so it was intense. Real Betis, historically, we've had tough games against them. Just the intensity with which they attack, especially in the recent seasons, has been a challenge. It's been something that we've had to overcome just through constant attack, through constant defense, by tightening our lines. Towards the end of the first half, it was end-to-end games, which was interesting to see. I'm interested in seeing Farouk's takes on the beautiful football that was played there. A lot of one-touch passes, a lot of beautiful movement from the ball, off the ball. The second half saw more of what Real Madrid really is. Substitutions, instant impacts, and everything. I know that this was a game that people weren't really expecting us to come out on top. I saw a lot of predictions that said that we would end in a draw, 1-1. Even from the panel, which I admit I found a little bit odd because of our capabilities, let's say. The game should have ended on a much higher goal line. I mean, the score line does not reflect the game at all, I feel. Major props to both teams, both keepers on both ends. Really intense game. Really glad that we came out on top. 2-1 is a good win. Not just from just winning it, but the actual intensity that the whole team showed. And remember that we're still
this was
early
kind
into the
of a
season.
tone.
It is, yeah, and we're so
This
much
was
early
kind of
into
a
the
tone
season.
setter early in the season.
Exactly.
This kind of prepares us very well for what's coming up, especially in the Champions League, and it's not going to be easy when we will be traveling all across Europe, taking on some very tricky teams, to say the least. Javier, what did you think?
Well, I think it was a expected game, you know. The game was exactly what we predicted on the pre-game game. So
yeah,
for me, it was not unexpected, but it still isn't I will say our final form, you know. I think is a lot of work to do on the defense side.
A lot of rustiness, right? Very rusty.
Yeah, I said it on the chat. I think Militao had a good game. I think Alaba has a really weak one, and also Carvajal in the first half.
From Carvajal was getting skinned left, right, and center.
For then maybe we will talk about once again Tchouaméni. he's outstanding. You know, the first half, I think in the 45 minute, he dodges a 3 fouls and still gets the ball. And then Vini's in another level. So with Vini and Rodrigo, it's a fun game. Always gonna be a fun game. Maybe we lost sometimes, but when those two guys on the pitch and with Benzema, we're gonna have fun.
The thing that I liked about Rodrigo, I'm, as you all know, his biggest advocate within us. But some people pile on Rodrigo, mentioning that he's very predictable, especially since he's being deployed on the right flank. That he always has to kind of shimmy it onto his stronger foot. But even then, he was giving defenders a hard time today, which was evident by Jacob's frustration and my frustration and Javier's frustration. In the chat when he whipped that ball into Benzema. God knows how he absolutely managed to fluff it. But yeah, man, Rodrigo, even when he is kind of giving defenders hints as to where he's going to go, it's difficult to stop him. And he's coming off a back of a slight knock, so it's all the more encouraging. And Real Betis is no easy team to play, even at home. Yeah, fair points, Javier. Your opinion, Farouk?
No, before that, Sunil, I'll just add on something to end off the topic. I mean, this game highlighted some of the criticisms that Real Madrid as a team faces all the time. So stuff like free kicks, stuff like a leaky right side, stuff like will Carvajal be able to get back and defend, stuff like Vinicius missing sitters.
It was a leaky right side today.
Yeah, it was. It traditionally highlighted everything that everybody talks about Real Madrid, and I'm really excited to see what the panel has to say about that. Yeah, please continue. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Yedu's point actually was a very, very valid point. To be honest, I think like that. I mean, at least for me personally, I think like for the first half, especially for the first half, like it's really, really highlighted, some of the. I mean, with Dani Carvajal, there was a bit of, how would I say, like uncertainty, I would say, or if that would be a word to put. And back to Yedu's initial point about beautiful football and what is not, like that's it, man. Like teams on the front foot, like I mean, I'd rather go and watch a 4-3 than go and watch a 1-0, man. I mean, I would even watch a 3-3, man, than watch a 1-0. Like that's the thing. We're entertainment business, man. If we're not entertained, then what's the whole point of it? Like our heart is beating fast, but that's the whole point, man. We're here to find adrenaline, to be honest. And man, I mean, I would
disclaimer to the listeners and the viewers. So Farouk is kind of an adrenaline junkie, and he doesn't care about wins, and I don't associate with that in any manner.
I mean, I watched the Merseyside derby, like I think 45 minutes before our game, and man, I mean, my blood was like, I mean, I was ready for anything at that point in time. Just let's do this. The game was end to end, like it was really good, So coming from that, and then coming to see. Because to be honest, like when we discussed earlier with the guys, like we were like very skeptical about the games against Real Betis, So like being able to watch, such, as you guys were saying, like intricate passes, one-touch movements, and to be honest, like Aurelien Tchouameni is actually showing, that okay, I am no Casemiro, but I am no slouch either. Like he's showing that I can do some things that even if I can do what he can do, I can give you some things that would be adequate enough to replace what you guys got from him in the past. So to be honest, for me, it was a really, really good. It was a good game, very frantic game, but it was a good game. And I also like to just pinpoint David Alaba's pass to.
There's some static on Farouk's end. Is it just for me?
I'm sorry.
There's some static on Farouk's end, right? No,
it seems fine.
Fine, just for me then. My bad. Go on.
Yeah. So I just say I'll just finish by highlighting David Alaba's pass for Vinicius to go, man. I mean, that was just, in my opinion, that was pure filth, man. That was something out of the textbook, man. It was a really, really good pass, and Vinicius timing, we keep mentioning about, we keep talking about his maturity and what is not. I mean, like day by day, we keep seeing, these things that just only solidifies because we're at least personally for me, I'm always just wondering, okay, will he be able to maintain the level of last year? Will he be able to? Because that's the thing with superstar players. We can have a book of players that are like 1-2 season wonders. Be it Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil, the Sanchos, and what is like. There are players that have performed for one season and could not maintain it anymore. You understand? But with Vini, you can see even now, the maturity. It's so obvious. Even the way he timed his run to not get offside for before he received the ball and what is not.
From into the out,
Exactly.
which is what essentially created the goal.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So yeah, to be honest, like for me, I mean that was that just really reaffirms the feeling that
It's a very good point, because Vini's transformation has been coming. This whole him actually kind of taking on the onus that has been put upon him has been coming for a while. And see, there's one thing handling the pressure and expectation from fans like us, but the second thing is kind of putting it into fruition. And Vinicius again today proved why I felt like if last season was Benzema's, this season is definitely going to be Vinicius to kind of grab by the scruff of the neck. And yeah, man, defended no chance. He kind of I think underestimated how brilliant Vinicius' movement is going to be, and he paid the price. And the most important bit is his finishing. Rui Silva is not an ordinary keeper. He's a brilliant keeper, which was again evident if you guys remember the Chouameni header of a corner that he saved onto the post. This guy is not an average keeper. Rui Silva is very highly rated, and he almost tried to hurry Vinicius into making a decision by coming off the line and kind of appearing big, but no chance. The ball's weight that the Vinicius put on it was perfect, sublime stuff, such sublime stuff that I never thought that he would be pulling off a couple of years ago. So Vinicius is truly putting himself on top 5, top 3 wingers in the world right now. And yeah, it's fantastic to see. But another Brazil,
it's interesting to see how Vini is keeping on improving, as in it's just not like Javier said, it's not his final form, as it's not the final form for the team. It will be interesting to see how he'll progress as not just the season, but as seasons go ahead. As Farooq said at the beginning of our season, we had our expectations coming into the season. We talked about it in one of the live watch-alongs that we did. Farooq told me that he's most excited to see Vini play this season, and at this point, I have to agree. Absolutely.
The other thing is the key word that he mentioned is it's not his final form, which I pray is not, because although we can give him a lot of praise for his work ethic, the amount of attention to detail he puts up, training, especially since he knows coming into every fucking game that defenders are going to be breathing down his neck, and they are going to be doubling down, tripling down on him on a single flank. So one major instance was, especially immediately after they scored the equalizer, we had a chance, and it was put on a plate, and I mean an absolute plate for him to just gobble it up. It was almost like someone grabbed the fork from the table, put it into the food, and just gave it to his mouth, and he couldn't swallow it. It was that simple. It's such fine margins that is gonna actually define how much of a polished product Vinny is gonna be. Remember the chance he had against City, right after halftime, if I remember. So fine stuff like that. If he can iron it out, Vinicius is gonna be something truly special. And I mean, by truly special, the heights that Salas, the heights that Prime Robin, people like that could emulate. But another Brazilian was on full swing tonight. He has his obvious deficiencies. He's erratic. sometimes, but when he is on his day, my God, is he the toughest defender to play against? I think especially the toughest under 23, under 24 defender to face in Europe. I'm going to come to you, Jacob. How highly should we rate Militao, especially on the antics of last season? And now he's again proving to us how reliable he can be, especially alongside a veteran who has seen it all, done it all, like Alaba, and he has been clearly having an off day.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was expecting Militao's form to drop off even more in this season because he's been having a lot of personal issues in his life with his girlfriend and stuff. So,
Right.
but it looks like he's like built mentally himself, and then he's putting everything out there for the team. So last couple of games, he's been really encouraging. But this game, man, like he was everywhere. He just snuffed out the whole right part of the midfield.
I'm pretty sure, after this game, going back into the team bus, he's gonna be telling Carvajal, you know what, bro, come down to my crib tomorrow night because I'm gonna be throwing you a fucking party. Because if it wasn't for Militao, Carvajal would have been taken off before halftime, I think.
Definitely. But speaking of Carvajal, like I feel like he had the luxury of having Valverde play on the right flank all of the other games. We were totally missing him this game. That's why he got skinned time and time again in the first half. But then
but you can clearly see Rodrigo's defensive awareness is on the same level as Fede, right?
I would say
on the same level.
I would disagree.
Definitely, man. Did you see on the same level? Definitely no. Like
and the work rate
not
as
on the
well.
same level. I mentioned it's not on the same level, right?
Okay, I thought you said it's on the same level. I missed. No.
It's not on the same level. Yeah.
Who's gonna smoke what and say Rodrigo's and Fede's defensive awareness is on the same level?
Man,
I just thought you said that.
I don't know what they plan in Canada, man. So I can't for sure. Maybe you smoke.
My bad. Sorry.
Fun times.
Yeah, go on, Jacob.
Oh yeah, like a totally dominant performance by Millie today. He didn't put any foot wrong today, and then probably one of the best players on the pitch. Apart from, in my opinion, Tchouaméni also had a really, really good game.
Good point. Tchouaméni
was man of the match. Actually. Was man of the match. Yeah.
Was he the official man of the match?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Tchouaméni, like this midfield was very intriguing. Moving on from Militao, this midfield was very intriguing because it's kind of a perfect mixture. We have so many options. Last season was mad. Remember, Farooq, we were here, kind of pulling our hairs out, like being the same 11. And kind of knowing that, Carlo already had a past history of fucking up by, essentially fielding the same 12 or 13 players. And we were kind of waiting for it all to collapse. But this season, the plethora of choices, especially in midfield, is very, very interesting. And this particular trio, if you actually deep it, Modric, Tchouaméni, and
Camavinga.
Camavinga. It kind of complements each other so well. Tchouaméni being the screen, Camavinga bringing that energy to break lines and kind of drive with the ball, and Modric to pick out a pass. So this was so good. I think Tchouaméni was in his element today. He had a couple of loose balls that he was nicked off, but in general he was imperial. So was Camavinga. I feel like all this Tchouaméni hype, the new shiny toy thing that we used to always allude to, is kind of blindfolding us. Don't you think? Even Camavinga was on the same level until he was obviously bought off. I'll come to you, Javier. How good was both Tchouaméni and Camavinga tonight?
First of all, you have to consider that this was the first game of Tchouaméni in the Real Madrid in the Bernabeu.
Yeah.
So being the man of the match in your first home game, just imagine the boost you will have, right? We said in the last game versus
absolutely.
He was, for me, man of the match material. But in this game was undisputable. Then Eduardo, you said it well, Sonny. he wasn't. I think the game needs Fede, but not in decrement of Camavinga. You know, I will say maybe even bolder, something like that, to maybe change Modric. But it wasn't a bad game for Camavinga. I think he was playing very well, very progressive forward, moving the ball. And maybe I like the combination between Tchouaméni, Modric, and Camavinga. But what the time and the age doesn't fool anyone. You know, in this high pace, sometimes Modric is not as fast. And this game, both of them were very fast. And then you have Rodrigo, and then you have Vini. You need fast pace. You know, sometimes when the game is controlled, like in the second half, it was perfect for Modric and then for Ceballos. You know, that those two can control the game when we need. But both of them, you know, I get what you said. You know, Tchouaméni is the new one, but Eduardo is 19 years old. So for me, the French connection in the midfield, it's
he's the youngest one. That's the crazy stuff. You know, this is too much pressure. This is too much pressure. And Javier was in here last year. Like I used to tell Farouk, you know, like he was kind of doubtful. Like I'm bringing this up time and time again, bro. Farouk, you gotta bear with me because I gotta live off it. You know, this is my bread and butter. So I gotta put you through the mud sometimes. But I used to tell Farouk time and time again that when I see this guy's confidence, it's one of a kind. It's not something that is always bought on by the trust the manager has or the teammates have in one. I think Camavinga has this God-given gift to be extremely calm, although it kind of subverts his whole affection towards yellow cards. But you can see the confidence in which with which he actually plays. I'm going to come to you, Farouk, right? So Camavinga, Tchouaméni, all good. What about veterans like Modric and Kroos? How do you see them?
Let me just address the first part of your sentence. Camavinga and Tchouaméni not good enough, in my opinion, for right now. I feel like Camavinga, Tchouaméni have to be supplemented by Valverde, in my opinion. I think to get that solidity in the against the big opponents, I think right now it's not good enough. Obviously, as you know me, like, to be honest, I don't care if you're 5 or 10 or 15 or 20, you understand? As long as you're in the field, you have to perform. Like, if you're being paid the big boss, you sign a contract, it means you can do a job, you get. But the point is...
So you didn't see any positive signs?
I'm sorry?
Throughout this opening, you didn't see any kind of positive signs from them?
No.
Throughout these opening few matches?
I'm just saying to you, like, they're not, like, I don't feel like they're ready for the top flight games against the who's and who's of European football, you understand? That's what I'm saying. I'm not, don't misunderstand. Right. They're not good enough. I'm saying that they're like, you know, when
nobody's actually saying that. Like, did I come across as being advocating them to, you know, start like against your PSGs or your Bayerns? I didn't.
I mean, that's what I understood when you say good to know. Good to. Anyways, that's just. I mean, that's. I just want to put that out there. In my opinion, I feel like, you know, all three of them have to be on the pitch at the same time.
Very negative, Farouk. Very negative. You're very, very negative.
No, I'll actually agree with Farouk on that.
I mean, that's the whole point here, man. Like, the point is, I'm not here coming to watch Arsenal or Everton play, man. I'm coming here to watch the best of the best play, man. That's the
burn. What a burn.
That's the whole point here, man. I'm not here to come and watch.
The whole point is,
we have watched
the whole point of this discussion.
I'm not going to come here and watch subpar football, man.
No, I would actually...
when they're performing, right?
There's something to add there because I mean, Tchouaméni had a blinder of a game, absolutely amazing. Camavinga, on the other hand, I wouldn't say that he had his best game on. Maybe it's because Tchouaméni had such a good game that Camavinga was in Tchouaméni's shadow. But for me, the player to watch out for whenever he's on the field is Camavinga. But today that wasn't the case. I felt like Modric was more involved than Camavinga was. Maybe the panel disagrees. But for me, the midfield, once you took Camavinga off, became a little better. That's just me, though.
That's a little unfair because he scored the second goal like 2 seconds after Camavinga was up, and it wasn't.
This is some scathing reviews of Camavinga. honestly. Like,
It's not. I'm not
can't put
saying
up
that
with-
That's the thing,
I'm not saying that he's the
That's
worst
the
player
thing,
there.
like,
No, never.
You're not like criticism
Okay.
can be constructive without being negative. That's the thing, right? So don't
Yeah, for sure.
as being like it's a negative thing. No, I mean I said it. Last time when we were with Jacob and Javier, you guys can remember.
Right.
Like he asked me like, would you take Pedri over Camavinga? I said for sure no. I want Camavinga always. You understand? That's the thing. I was on the fences with Camavinga, but he pulled me down to his side. I agree 100%. He's my guy now. You get the point. But the point is also like we have to also like, in my opinion, I feel like the midfield trio is not like, at least with Camavinga and Fede Valverde, is not complete. Sorry, with Camavinga and Tchouaméni, we need Fede Valverde to complement that I do as well to complete the trio. In my opinion, you understand. But that doesn't necessarily mean like you have to bring down one of them to build up another. You understand? That's the thing.
Right. Yeah, fair point. All this discussion basically tells us that Carlo have like a good selection headache to deal with, right? Like it's for the best. Like if he didn't have a selection headache, like I'm pretty sure people would start getting complacent. And talking about complacent, okay, going a little off script. I feel like Benzema is having a very bad period. Even against Espanyol, obviously he scored a couple of brilliant goals. Like he was far off from his, mercurial standards from last season. I'm going to come to you, Yetu. What is your take on Benzema kind of being off it, or did you think he was off it? That was just my opinion.
I am tempted to agree because there were some regular Benzema kind of balls. There were some regular Benzema kind of footwork that I've come to expect from Benzema, which just wasn't there today. It might just be because he was closed down much more today, which is also worrying because it gives the other teams a chance to study Benzema and deal with them, effectively taking out one of our biggest attacking threats. But I don't think it's about complacency. I think that as the season goes on, he just gets better and better. He's that kind of player who
But don't you think it's too much pressure? Too much pressure to carry the goal scoring duties of the biggest club.
I would be. I mean, I feel like all the fans as well as Benzema would be happy if we had more attacking threats from the wings, taking off some of the pressure from him being the marksman. So the teams have come to expect that the end balls will reach Benzema, which is a problem, not just for us, but for Benzema, because he keeps getting man-marked, he keeps getting boxed in, he keeps getting sandwiched between two players, as we saw today. Whenever a pass almost reached Benzema, there was always a player or two to cut off the pass and to effectively end the attack, which is a big problem. And even the free kicks. I mean, I've had a problem with the free kicks being taken that way.
Dude, he just scored a free kick like in the last game.
But not today. Today we had some clear chances.
A player who was in the goalkeeper, after that.
No, it's more about his whole performance that affected my kind of thinking.
His all-round performance.
His all-round performance on the pitch today. Yeah. But then I'm not happy with today's game. That's all I'm saying. I know that he'll get better. He'll keep scoring. He'll keep saving upwards as the season progresses.
If you've been watching Real Madrid for long enough, you'll know that our players don't kick into third gear up until like January, February, and that's when they really start going. And I hope Benzema, like kind of heats up. At the turn of next year, and I think this is just probably just getting into rhythm and shape. I hope that is the case.
There's also the problem, or maybe an issue with the number of games that all the players have this season. Not just La Liga, not just UCL, even the World Cup has to come into play, which will be interesting to see globally, worldwide. But yeah, Benzema will have to play a lot of games, and he will have to be that person who finishes, who gets to be that point.
it's mind-boggling because people, when someone raises the concern that we didn't sign a plan B, they always go and point fingers at, what happened to Jovic? What happened to Jovic? But Jovic, in my opinion, is an anomaly because stuff like this happen, man. Like, you got to take the gamble. Like, you wouldn't be maybe able to find the perfect solution to a Benzema replacement, but any sort of a plan B, someone experienced like Dzeko, I'm strictly speaking in the mold of a Dzeko, could have definitely helped us because he's not getting any younger and he needs to be rested throughout the course of the season. And this is honestly worrying. This is too much pressure. We got to always realize that last season he was inhuman. And you can't expect Benzema to be in that vein of form to constantly drag us through games. It's a big ask. But moving on, the goal they scored, I'm going to come to you, Jacob. Was it too easy how Carvajal was beaten by Alex Moreno? Alex Moreno was brilliant. Like, he is the only guy that I can actually remember, apart from your obvious, Bruno Iglesias and Canales, who was playing out wide, and then he was kind of moved into a 10 role after, the Fekir injury, which is, again, not a surprise. Fekir always gets injured. But, do you think that goal could have been prevented better? Especially, Militao was turned by Iglesias.
Everyone kind of switched off in that particular instance, I would say. But that's fine. Like, we do expect this from Carvajal nowadays, right? We don't expect him to be 100% there defensively, but he does, win us back in the final stretches of the season where there are important games. He finally reaches his final form.
Yeah.
But these kind of games, like, we should be worried about just Carvajal starting without support from Valverde. So I think that's what happened, and then it all just happened really quickly, and then goal equalizer for them.
Out of nothing, right? Basically, like it was just it was just mad to watch.
Watching there, like even the crowd wasn't that excited. Like it just felt like they created a goal out of nothing.
Yes, absolutely. But even then, Betis was kind of stretching us, not so much through Mendy's side, which is expected. Mendy always quietly has a solid game. He might not help out much in attack, but I feel like this guy, shuts up shop so well that we rarely speak about him, right? Like, it's crazy. Like, we rarely speak about Mendy, which is I think his biggest strength. Like, obviously, we all know that like his attacking prowess is kind of on the weaker side, but Mendy always has a brilliant game. But moving on to the impact of Valverde. You mentioned Valverde, Jacob. I'm gonna come to you, Javier. Valverde coming in completely turned the game. And Jacob was mentioning in the chat, like, I feel like it was the wrong substitution. And is it a Carlo masterclass, or is Fede kind of the guy that injects energy whenever called upon?
It's a combination of both, Valverde, it's one hell of a football player, He's a box-to-box midfield and also as a right wing facility, and then he's a tough player. He understands the game, but then the game needs. So Fede, it's a hell of a football player, but Carlo knows that. So just to add on from what we talk about, today was Chouamini's, tomorrow is going to be Fede, and then it's going to be Tony, and then it's going to be Karim, and then it's going to be Rodrigo. And that's exactly what this team needs. Last season, as you said, was all Karim show, from Sparks, from Vini, and the later from Rodrigo and Camavinga. But this season needs an MVP from, 12 for 15 different players. The one player that cannot be the MVP, we don't need to Courtois be the MVP. Other than that, it's the thing with we need, you know. This game, Toni Kroos, a starter last season, was almost forgettable, you know. And this is the first home game without Casemiro and Kroos, and we didn't fail that against our other number one in the league. And we're picking up, maybe Karemi do this. No, the team is the start of the season. You know, this is the fourth game. All of them gonna be progressive, I think. But what we need is to win and boost confidence in these players. You know, Fede accepts his role, because we remember last season wasn't a regular fit in the first half of the season. And then he obliterated of all the competition, and Carlo finds his place on the right wing, you know?
Yeah.
If you ask any Real Madrid fan in the start of the last season, when we will be seeing Fede, no one will say on the right wing, you know? He's just like that adaptable. So maybe we can understand other position as well. We said on the pre-game with Farouk and Jacob that we're going to see a lot of starts of Rodrigo instead of Benzema. I can see that happening. And those kind of games will be completely different ones, you know? Like maybe we will play with a diamond in the center, and a lot of change, I see this as a season of change. And Carlo understands that the Real Madrid way is win, to win.
Yeah, no matter what.
In any
Carlo
way,
has been very vocal that this, like you mentioned, is going to be a season of change. You know, like if he has to actually go back and do the same stuff that he did last season, this season he's going to fail terribly, because the circumstances of this season is completely different. The amount of competition increased.
Sorry. Do you all guys remember the second season of the first time for Carlo, you know?
Yeah, 2014-15. Yeah.
What happened? He didn't rotate. He didn't do the same things. He tried to do the same things, and wasn't the result.
Yeah.
So he understands that,
so many people
Real Madrid cannot play 2 seasons back to back in the same way. Not for the same players, but the same game, because all the teams studied Real Madrid. You have to understand, in Spanish, in world football, the game in everyone's calendar is the game against Real Madrid, and they outperform their in every way. So that we consider we need to change. We need to do things different every game for us to be unexpected. Because when you are only playing like tiki-taka and something like that, you're gonna be predictable.
We got to be giving them, stuff to think about. Definitely, that's a very valid point. But I'm going to come to you, Farouk, right? So whenever people kind of mention about Valverde and him being on the wing, they say that whenever Valverde plays, like it's kind of one-dimensional, and he's more of a defensive, facet more than an attacking one, and should be only used in the most decisive, high-profile games to kind of, be kind of stable and defensively solid. Like, do you think he has more to his game than just, helping out in defense and being a live wire on the right-hand flank?
I mean, definitely, man. The man came on after 5 seconds, he did an assist, man. I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, you can't, I mean, that's so.
That's the Champions League final, yeah.
I mean, that's okay. I was gonna say that, but because
I was gonna say that.
High-profile games, so already Champions League finals and high-profile games, so like maybe that's an exception to the case. But I mean, today wasn't a high-profile game, right? So like, I mean, it wasn't in that standard of levels, but I mean, that's the thing. He came on to the end. Obviously, I think we've also discussed this in the past. Fede Valverde is not, he's not the Rodrigos, you understand? He's not even you can put, the likes of Marco Asensio's even on, Eden Hazard, like what the contribution you can get for them attacking wise you wouldn't get from Fede Valverde. We all know this and we accept this, you understand. But the point is that I don't think the man is just, to bring about stability and all that. No, he's much more than that. I mean, the man he's a double engine man. He's a two-way engine man. That's just it. Like both defensively and attacking wise, like he's a monster, to be honest. But I reiterate, like he's not, as good as attacker as Rodrigo's and what he's not. But like the stability, the solidity, everything else he brings to the team, man.
Do you think he'll have a much more prominent role than last season?
Definitely, man. I think he's ahead of Rodrigo and Asensio and whoever is there right now. And I think any game you have, like he's the choice. But as you guys rightly pointed out, it's a very, very long season this time around, and it's a very weird season. So there's going to be a lot of ins and outs, rotations up and down. And I know Carlo Ancelotti doesn't want to do this, but he has no choice. That's it, unfortunately. So he has to do this. So he has to just rotate in and out. But I think right now, like I think Fede Valverde is one of the first 5-6 names on the team sheet.
Fair point. I remember Fede starting out, and he has come a long way with both the fans and with the Real Madrid hierarchy in where he stands. So yeah, Fede is definitely going to grow into his role this season. But I'm going to come to you, Jacob, more of the guy that also keeps an eye on the opposition, unlike us. Like, who do you think was kind of their standout player? Betis'
I know the name,
player.
but I'm just going to let Yadu answer this. Like, if I start, I'm not going to stop railing about this player. So take it away, Yadu.
No, I'm not sure. What do you mean?
Yo, Canales, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Canales was interesting. And by interesting, I mean annoying to deal with.
Yeah.
To deal with. I had my heart in my mouth whenever Canales had the ball. But then, I'll pass it back to Jacob because he understands more about Real Betis than I do. Jesus, what a player, though.
Yeah, he's a brilliant player. I think they were giving us problems in midfield, and we were dealing with it fairly well. Especially the trio that started the game was kind of dealing with them pretty well, and the guys who came in as well, Ceballos and Cruz, was also kind of like holding them down. Like I can't imagine Joaquin actually came on. He's 41 years old. I have no idea how he's actually right. Like
I've seen Joaquin in Fiorentina in Syria, and I'm like, okay, didn't this guy play for? Or like, no, was it his twin brother or was it his son?
He's been there for time now.
In a long time.
Crazy.
Forever.
Crazy.
No, but then what I meant with Canales was, I'm sorry. What I meant about Canales was because he was causing problems, the team had to drop back deep to deal with him. If that makes sense. We would be constantly on attack, and then a counter would come and the whole team would have to run back, especially Jaume having the standout game that he did, was constantly behind the man, chasing him. I know that I kind of disagree that we had midfield problems because it was more or less, it's because it was more or less dealt with. It wasn't
I didn't mention we had midfield problems. I mentioned
I mean we had more challenges in midfield. I don't feel that.
But we were kind of trying to manage it well. I felt like we weren't getting overrun much apart from the first half.
Yeah, the pace caused us problems. I did. I don't see it as a battle of the midfield because our midfield simply outclassed them.
Right.
But our defense needed help from the midfield, if that makes sense. It wasn't a clear-cut case of the midfield does whatever they want, the backline can deal with it. It wasn't that. The midfield had to drop back to deal with the constant pace, the constant threat, especially on the counters. We couldn't afford being caught out on the corners, caught out on the counters. So the dropping deep was more of an issue to deal with, especially with Canales, as Jacob said. Yeah.
No, but what do you guys?
Go on.
Like, what do you guys think about our defense today? Like, we went back to the tried and trusted Alaba and Militao pairing, and then we all know that they can be very suspect aerially. And then, especially when we have games where we have to drop back because of genius players like Canales, how do you think we dealt with them aerially?
I feel like we still had the same problems. I just feel like Glacius was off it today. Like, am I wrong to think that?
No.
And they lost Fekir. If Fekir wasn't out of the game, it will be another game in the midfield. I think I might be biased, but I like the Guardado's game. You know, he supports his right side of the defense very good, and maybe that's the thing that you said, Jacob. Maybe that's in our team. Maybe that will be the role that Tchouaméni needs to help Carvajal.
It's a brilliant segue into our next challenge. Betis was fine. Betis was easier than expected. I'll be honest. Like they kind of ruffled our feathers a bit, but we kind of weathered the storm and saw it through. It's also funny to note the fact that Pellegrini changed his tried and trusted 11 for the first time this season. So they all gave us enough respect, and I feel like we capitalized on it. But since Jacob mentioned the aerial kind of weaknesses, like we have all talked about, Celtic is going to be our next opponent away in Glasgow in a couple of days, and they have a very physical striker, who it's hard to pronounce his name. I'm going to try my best. It's Giaco. I'm not gonna even try, but you can.
No,
you guys
go ahead. Go try. Let's see.
I'm gonna be really bad. Okay, Georgios Giacomakis. So I was watching him pretty early in the morning. It was the Glasgow derby, if you guys didn't know. And this guy was a handful. And he's a very physical striker like Bruno. He didn't have his best of games, but even then, the amount of problems he was giving the Rangers backline was mad. I feel like he's going to give us problems, especially if Carlo goes with his tried and tested 11, tried and tested defense on Tuesday. So, like that's my main concern, and they also have so many other different outlets, especially the winger Abada and the new Portuguese signing in the summer, Jota. It's not going to be easy as people think. There's a reason why they cruised to a 4-0 victory and 3-0 at halftime in a derby, and they're coming off a league-winning season. They're just firing on all cylinders. They scored, I think, 9-0. They won 9-0, I think, the other week. So they're going to be a difficult opponent Tuesday. I'm going to come to you, Farouk. Yeah, do you think Carlo should go with the trusted backline, or should we have a case for Rudiger
against Celtic?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I think Tony Rudiger should play.
Oh, it's in Celtic. Like I get your side. You're not giving them any kind of respect, but
no game is easy. I get that, but the point is, if you come here and try to tell me that in the SPL, like someone wins 9-0 and defeats Rangers 4-0 and shit stuff like that, I'm gonna tell you like Rangers Celtic.
You know for the fact that
Celtic is as good as Brighton and Leicester, man.
Right? Like if you have a faint memory, I'm gonna refresh it.
I'm sorry?
Sheriff Dennis, right? Yeah. So do you think that is an anomaly and that never happens?
Anomaly. That's what I'm saying to you is like, what I'm trying to portray to you here is that I don't know, Shab, I just felt like you played the game like it was going to be it's a difficult game and stuff like that. Like what I'm trying to say here is that if we lose against Celtic, it's going to send shocks throughout Europe because it's going to be an upset. You get the point. In my opinion, the game against Celtic is the game to put the fringe players, to give them a test out. But maybe because it's the first game of the Champions League season, you might decide that, okay, you want to go with your tested and trusted 11. But in my opinion, through the likes of, Tony Rudiger, this is the game I will rest the likes of Luka Modric and so on and so forth. Yeah, obviously, and Benzema are going to play because we don't have anyone to replace them. But like, in my opinion, this is the game where I will also like give Dani Carvajal a rest, let Lucas Vazquez do his job. Yeah. So, but then because I was also considering the fact that we have a derby against Atletico Madrid.
Football is a game that's gonna humble you, Farouk. You know, you were humbled a lot of times last season. I remember you talked shit, and then later
When was I humbled? Tell me when I was humbled.
It's a recurring theme, and I have no surprises.
Tell me when I was humbled, man. It was
Entirely
against Chelsea, right? It was against Chelsea, and I told you 100% we're going through, and we went through. It was the only
You
game.
remember the banana we went through, right? You come chest out and say, "Oh, we are going through," but you shat your pants.
I knew we were going through, man. Because I knew we were going through. Because I felt that was the only game I was cocky about, and I knew that. I felt that we were going through. That's the thing. But the point is, I'm trying to make here is like Celtic, with all due respect, is just as good as Leicester or Brighton, man. It's like the 10th team in the Premier League. You get the point.
But then Farouk, to add to that point, I mean, it might also be interesting to see how Rudiger does against physically strong opponents, because that's always the case for Rudiger than against him.
He's used to playing British football, so Celtic also is a British team, so at least it's going to be a bit of familiarity for him, and also he needs to get a run out as well, so that's the thing.
Yeah, instead of starting at 85, Sorry. Yeah. I just want to say that instead of starting at 85 minutes, I would keep him on the field for 85 minutes against Celtic, just to see what he's capable of. For 85 minutes. I mean, for the last 5 minutes, I just put in maybe some.
The reason the aforementioned guy Kyoko Makis is actually coming in is because Kyoko Furuhashi, he's also one of their star players, the Japanese guy. He actually got injured in the 4th or 5th minute. So yeah, it was mad how the game kind of kicked off. So even they are kind of missing like a few of their starting 11, but I'm sure that they'll be up for it. And Farouk, you better be prepared. I'm not gonna vouch for them to win or anything, but it's not gonna be easy.
You told us also Frankfurt is a big team. I'm like, no, man. Like, I mean, we're Real Madrid. If we're starting to care about teams like Frankfurt,
we just gotta be humble. We just gotta be humble. We can't be so arrogant, man. Like, honestly,
it's not about being arrogant. It's about
if anything, what last season has taught me is to be humble and kind of give respect to every single team that we face.
Definitely, every team has respect, but I can't come and start treating Celtic like it's fucking Man City, man. No.
But then, Sunaid, let me ask you this.
Nobody's saying Celtic is Man City. Calm down. But I think that's pretty much sums up our post-match tonight.
Before we go though, I'll just ask you this, Sunaid. I mean, we have a game against Shakhtar as well coming up. Would you say Shakhtar would win?
No, but those teams, I'm always wary of them. Like, honestly, you never know. Like, I'll give our team every chance of beating every fucking team in the world. Okay, if you ask me right before kickoff, do you think Shakhtar or do you think Barcelona or do you think any team in the world is gonna defeat us? I'm not gonna say, yes, they're gonna defeat us. No way. But I'm just gonna keep my hearts to my chest, cards to my chest, and not like kind of underestimate anybody. It's Champions League, upsets can happen. That's my only thing. You never know. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up our post-match reactions for today. A small reminder to our listeners and viewers. This is again a humble request. The Football Content Awards has been going on for the past 3 years, and that is kind of a big deal up in the UK. And the only category podcasts or content creators outside of UK can maybe take part in is Best Young Content Creator. All of us here are not young by any stretch of the imagination, but the other category you can actually vote for us is the Best New Content Creator. You're 25, Yadu, calm down. Is Best New Content Creator. So if you haven't already, if you like what we do, and if you want to reciprocate the affection, you could actually vote for us by the link in the description below, by tagging us in the post atting us at Let's Be Real 1902 on Instagram, and it'll be very, very much appreciated by all of us. And any last thought, boys, before we wrap this up?
Yeah. Have you seen the stadium? Wow. Have you seen this? It's beautiful. It's so amazing.
It's cool. I like the new dressing room, especially.
Yeah. Everything, all the video shots from above, from inside, from the shots that go through the corners. Oh, absolutely amazing. What a beauty of a stadium. And
Farooq, what do you think about the new stadium, Farooq?
Actually, the changing of the turf is what excites me the most. Actually, like the way.
So it excited you? Okay. Fair enough.
For the last,
Javier, Jacob, anything?
This is going to be the start. The game against Celtic is going to be the start of I will say, the real start of the season. Game every Wednesday and weekend. So let's all hope.
3 games a week.
Yeah. Let's hope this is going to be prepared. And just to point out, Sonit, I'm with Farooq. Though we don't need to be scared of Celtic, of Schalke, of anyone. Sorry, man.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Man, if we're here,
I always have to be the
we're like,
guy.
holy God, we're gonna please against Celtic. God, please. I mean, what's the point, man?
To all the listeners out there, okay, this lynching of a guy who actually vouched for a debate to be interesting, is being blamed for overestimating. So, yeah, I'm going to be putting out a poll on our Insta page, right? Like, you can either side with me or the rest of the panel. So it's me against the world. So you can actually vote for us, vote for it on Instagram. So yeah, look out for that. Javier, totally, man, totally. I should not be saying that, Celtic is going to beat us. If I ever said that, okay. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. Also a quick side note, our new intro will be dropping very soon, hopefully by the first CL match day. So look out for that on our socials, on Twitter, on YouTube and Instagram. And again, love for the love. Hala Madrid.
Okay, before we go, let's just shout out the guys in the comments. So we have Ferdinand. So let's so it was saying being humble. But Ferdinand here is saying that we're just too good. La Liga is easy, trophy back to back. Okay, what about that for being humble then?
Too much chest. La Liga is not easy. Never easy. I don't know if you guys watch the same games that I do. Honestly.
Honestly, the only complaint that I have is the season is too long. There's so many games. Anything could happen anytime. So yeah, fair enough.
Because actually, I feel very comfortable with our squad actually this time around. But the point is, as Javier rightly pointed out, the season starts now. You start playing week in, week, like 2 games every single week, even sometimes 3 games a week. And then when the players start to fall like flies, then what happens? That's the thing, especially in key areas, like the likes of Vini and Karim Benzema. If something happens, that's a very, very big team. Thibaut Courtois, if something happens, I don't know. It's just remains to see.
Let's not go there. Let's not even talk about it, please.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I guess that's the end for today. So if we don't have anything, we can just Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
One final shout out to our friends of Real Madrid committee also as well. Check them out, and the link is in the description. There are collaborators for a long time. So yeah, we would appreciate it if you could actually check them out as well. Hala Madrid.